Hello everyone, how's it going? It's Vasco from the Angular University. In this lesson we are going to implement our first presentational component of our application. So this component is responsible for rendering data to the screen and reporting back events. But unlike a smart component, it's not aware of the application services such as the store or the thread service. So in that sense, it's a much more reusable component that can be plugged in several parts of the application if we so needed to display thread lists in other screens. So let's have a look on how we implement such type of component. Let's now visualize this data on the screen to make sure that everything is working. Right now, we only have here the thread list component and we're passing the threads property. But we have not yet implemented the thread list component. Now, I will quickly show you a simple implementation of this component and we are going to review it. So here we have it. The thread list component simply takes as input a list of thread summaries and its HTML template. It's as simple as a list with the class thread list, and we are going to use the ng4 core directive to iterate through the member variable threads. And here we are going to output the thread name. So this contains the list of participant names. This corresponds to this part of the thread summary view right here. And this is the last text message that we have received for that thread. So we are still missing here, if you notice here the screenshot, we are missing the timestamp. Let's add it in a moment. First, let's see what this looks like on the screen. So if at this point in the program we reload our application in port localhost 4200, we're going to see that we already get here a list of threads displayed on the screen. So we don't have yet the user selection part and we don't have yet the list of messages. But these are the threads and their summary. This is the last message of the thread and this is the name of the participants, a comma separated list. Now let's quickly add here the timestamp of the thread. And it's in this type of refactorings, adding a property at multiple types of our application, that TypeScript really helps us. So if we go to our thread summary, all we need to do here is to add here a timestamp property. That will be a number, and this is part of our thread summary. So if we now hit save, what we will see is that the TypeScript compiler itself will point us where do we need to add this property. So after a while, you should have here a list of errors. If we jump into the error that we have in our program, we can see here that we can no longer assign this to a thread summary VM. The timestamp property is missing. So let's add here the timestamp property that we're going to retrieve from the last message. In order to make our program more readable, we are going to create here another local variable called last message. And we are going to use it to populate the timestamp property of the thread summary. Now, how do we use this property in our template? Let's go to the thread list HTML template and let's add in here the timestamp. So we are going to take the numeric value of timestamp and we are going to apply it the standard date pipe. We want to display the timestamp in the short time format. So if we hit Ctrl S, our application is going to be recompiled and reloaded. So you should have here the spinning indicator. And as you can see here on the screen, you should have at this time the timestamp. And so here we have it, the thread lists is displayed on the screen. So most of our first smart component, the thread section component, is done at this stage. Let's continue. Let's move on to the message section component. First, let's do a little bit of cleanup of our thread section component. It's coming right up in the next lesson.